Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. This is Mr. Martin and Mr. Martin's Math Corner. We are on 2.5 literal equations. Okay, this is actually a really good section for us because now we're going to jump into equations that have more than one variable. Before we were dealing with just a single variable, and we even modeled using a single variable. Now we're going to break into having more than one. So our objective for the day is we want to be able to rearrange formulas to highlight a quantity of interest using the same reasoning as in solving an equation. All right, so let's take a look at our infamous things to know section. We got the definition here. A literal equation is defined as equations that have two or more variables. Okay, and then again we are going to use these inverse operations. Remember, when we solved equations to move stuff around, we did the inverse operations along with our properties of equality. Okay, so we're going to be doing the same thing here. We're just not going to have as many numbers. We're going to have a lot more variables. Okay, and we do this so that any variable in the equation can be isolated, meaning by itself. All right, let's take a look at our first example here. So we have a very nice graphic. This is a rectangular prism for those of us that forgot. And we have the dimensions here. We have, let's go ahead and start plugging these in. We know that this big V, right, if we have a three-dimensional figure, we are looking for the volume. Okay. Our dimensions, we have L that we use for length. And I think you guys can pretty much fill out the rest of these with me. We got the width and we got the height. Okay, so our traditional formula is volume is equal to length times width times height. Okay, and I want you guys to remember all of that timesing going on, right? Remember, this is a product, and a product is comprised of two or more factors. So each of these dimensions are a factor, and that is important because that means they are all multiplying with each other. Now we want to rearrange this down here. It says we want to solve for h. So we want h to be by itself, not the v. And remember, if we are all multiplying, right, all of these factors are multiplying, the inverse operation of that multiplying would be dividing. Okay, so we want to make sure that we keep the h and we divide everything else out, and we can do this in one fell swoop. So to get rid of LW, we divide both sides by LW. And now we have our variable h is by itself, and it is equal to volume over length times width. Okay, and this might be important to us because let's say they gave us the volume and the length and the width, but we were only missing the height. So we might want to be able to rearrange to solve for the piece of information that was not given to us. All right, let's try this again with example number 2. This time we want to solve for L, so we want to get rid of WH, and in this case with this formula, the opposite is dividing, so that's what we do to both sides, and we get L is equal to, all right, these go away, we got V over WH. All right, so we got the same formula. I want you guys to do the next one. You got the U try, go ahead and pause the video, come back, see what you got. All right, welcome back. Hopefully you got the same thing I did here. I got the width is equal to the volume over the length times height. All right, very good. Let's go ahead. You know what? Let's box these up. These are our finished products. All right, so let's take a look here at example number 4. We got I is equal to PRT for each one of these. I'm going to have you guys pause the video here because this formula is really simple. Similar to the one that we had in the previous example. So go ahead and pause the video here, come back, and let's see what we got. There you are. All right, check it out. So I got P is equal to I over RT, R is equal to I over PT, and T is equal to I over PR. Okay, so you might be asking yourself, what is this formula I gave you? Some of you guys might know it already. If you don't, then I will tell you right here. This is our simple interest formula. Okay, you guys are actually going to see this as an adult. You'll see the simple and the compound, but for our purposes here, we're just going to deal with the simple interest. But anytime you buy something, okay, you might have some, if you buy something and you finance it, you might have some interest that you owe. Maybe you put some money into a savings account. You might get some interest earned. Okay, so that's what simple interest is for us. This I equals PRT, sometimes known as I party. Haha. Nice little mnemonic device there. Okay, so let's go ahead and break down what this actually means. We got I, the big I. This stands for interest. Okay, and depending on what you're using this for, this could be interest earned or interest paid. Okay, then we got P, which is the principal. And no, not like our principal downstairs, but principal meaning our starting amount. Okay, how much did I put into savings, or how much money did I borrow? Okay, and then we have rate for R, right? This is our rate, and this is always as a decimal. Okay, I know I am not a big fan of decimals, but for these types of problems, I am. And then T is equal to time in years. Okay, this in years is important because you might see something like 2 years. All right, if we gave you 2 years, how would you put this? You would say T is equal to 2, right? Because this is our time in years. But what if I gave you 6 months? Is that a full year or less than a year? It is indeed less than a year. It is actually half of a year, so we would actually want to use 1/2. So make sure that you're putting your calculations in years. Okay, I got some good examples for us. Let me flip this page. Boom. All right, example number 5. So we got this little prompt that says find the number of years used in the calculation of a excuse me, of $1,000 loan at an interest rate of 5%. It's actually not that bad if you're new. With an interest totaling of $600. So let's first kind of figure out what our variables are. They want us to find the number of years. Okay, we know that T was years, so we don't even know what T is, obviously, because they're asking us to find it. Then we got this $1,000 loan. Remember, this either a loan or a deposit, right? Depending on what you're talking about. We want to know how much money are we starting with at first. What is that starting amount? So this loan is starting out at $1,000. So this is going to be our principal, $1,000. We have an interest rate of 5%. Okay, but remember, we want percent as a decimal. So for those of us that remember, there's that neat little trick, right? 5 is the same as 5.0. Let's go ahead and do that. So if you wanted to find this as a decimal, you could move it twice. Boom, that would be 0.5. One more time would be 0.05. Or you could always do 5 divided by 100, and that's going to give you that 0.05. So now we got our rate as a decimal. What other piece of information did they give us? They said the interest totaled up to $600. So we actually have our I value at 600. Okay, this is a good thing to do to get yourself organized. I usually like doing it, so it's just an easy plug and play for me. Okay, now I do want to let you know, remember this is our formula, I equals PRT. You're going to use it on the U try. But I do want to let you know that there are 2 different ways that we can approach this. We can do what the prompt is asking us, right? I'm going to show you guys how to do this first. If you know you're looking for T, we can rearrange the formula to solve for T. and then all of our calculations are basically done as an order of operations. Okay, or we can just substitute into the original formula, and then we can do a little bit of algebra. I'm going to show you guys both ways. So the first way that I'm going to show you is by rearranging the formula for t. We got I equals PRT. We want to solve for t, so we're going to divide both sides by PR, correct? So we got t is equal to I over PR. Okay, now we have all of those values. We don't have t, but we do have the I, the P, and the R. So let's go ahead and set this up. I goes up top, 600. Down below we got the P, which is 1,000. Okay, and I recommend if you have more than one substitution, especially with multiplication, that you start to model that using parentheses like I am doing right here. And the reason being is we can go ahead and plug this into our nice little TI-84s. So you see here, let me go ahead and turn mine on. Let's pop this up. Right there, boom. All right, so let's take a look. If you want, you can type this in exactly as you see it. Let the calculator do the work. For those of us that forgot how to do a fraction, if you take a look here at this alpha button, hit that, and then we're going to hit the y equals, and then we should see this prompt right here. We can choose number 1. Now that gives us our fraction bars. We can type this in exactly like we see it. So we got 600 divided by 1,000, and then this parentheses indicates I am multiplying. You could just hit the multiply button, but we should get in the habit of using the parentheses. And then enter. Boom, it gives me my nice finite answer of 12. So this is going to be t is equal to 12. And we wanted to know the number of years. So remember, use that context. We're going to write 12 years. So in 12 years, we would gain $600 interest. So this was the first way, by solving for t. Okay. The second way I want to show you is we can use the original formula, I equals PRT, and we can substitute in what we have. What do we have? We have the I, which is 600. We also have our equal sign. We have the P, which is 1,000. We're multiplying to the rate of 0.05. And then we are also multiplying it by t. Okay, now we can distribute like we've distributed before. Let's go ahead and do that. We got 1,000 times 0.05, and we get 50. So this is now 600 is equal to 50t. Now what does this look like? This looks like an equation that we've solved before. We could divide both sides by 50. And we're going to get 12 is equal to t. So we get the same solution. We just went about solving it a different way. So this might take a little more work up front, just moving that formula around. And then you can also do this if you like, if you're good at that algebra piece. All right, I want you guys to pause the video here, try example number 6 on your own, come back. I want you guys to actually define your variables too, kind of fill those out like I did on the previous one, and let's see what you get. Alright, welcome back. So I went ahead and labeled this out. I got my principal of $5,000, an interest rate of 0.03, and the interest totaled up to 500. I set it up, I solved for t, boom, boom, boom. I got 3 1/3. Okay, so you could have left 3.3 repeating. If you wanted to change it to 3 1/3, that would be okay too. But remember, this is 3 1/3 years. So what's 1/3 of a year? 12 months divided by 3, that gives me 4. So in actuality, in 3 years and 4 months is when they would have got that interest to total up to $500. All right, very good. Let's see what we have up next. Okay, we got example number 7. Here we got some very famous formulas. If you do not know them, I would suggest getting to know them. All right, this first one, area of a triangle. Boom, I'm so good. Area of a, I'm just going to draw a triangle. Who knows what this one is? Let me put it down here. We got slope-intercept form. Really get to know this one because we're going to see it in our next unit. Slope-intercept form. And then we got this one. Oh, let's put it back up here. This is our circumference of a circle. All right, I think you guys know how to do these. I'm just going to pause the video right here. You guys are going to try these on your own. Oh, I need to tell you what to solve them for. Let's do B, M. That'd be a good one. And I'm thinking, just so I can draw it here, let's do a little pi symbol. Boom. All right, come back. You try these on your own. All right, welcome on back. Great job, guys. If you take a look at this first one, oh, I had that nasty fraction in there, that 1/2. But how do I clear that, right? These are all factors. They are all multiplying. But I could get rid of this denominator first. Remember, by multiplying, this is 1 divided by 2. Opposite of divided by 2 is multiplied by 2. These 2's go away. We're left with the BH. And then we got the 2a. We want to keep the b. We divide both sides by the h. Boom, get rid of that. We got 2a over h equals b. All right, this second one we wanted to solve for m. Remember, this is one of 2 terms. We got to get rid of this plus b first by subtracting b. Then we divide both sides by the x. We keep the m. And then this one, kind of like our iParty, right? You just got these 3 factors on the right. We're keeping the pi. We dump the 2 in the r, and we're good to go. All right, I think that is it. Let me double check. Yes, that is it for our lesson today. Thank you so much for tuning in again. Like I said, this is Mr. Martin. This was 2.5 literal equations. Please do the practice problems. Remember, if you need any help, ask a teacher, ask a classmate, ask a parent, ask anybody. Somebody I'm sure will know and is willing to help. All right, great job. See you guys on the next one. Peace.